YouTube is filled with videos about living in Southeast Asia, Thailand, Malaysia, and Vietnam for $1,000 a month. And so for the last month of January, I thought, what would it be like? What would it be like to try and live for $1,000 a month? And that's exactly what I'm going to share with you in this video. My wife and I left the UK back in September of 2025. We're now slow travelling around the Southeast Asia region. We're currently here in Kuala Lumpur. We've already spent 3 months here previously, and then we've had some time in Thailand, and we're back here for the beginning of 2026. We thought this was a good opportunity to try out, if it was really possible, how low could we get our expenditure and what would the quality of life be like. So I'm going to break this down into multiple sections as follows: accommodation, groceries that we bought, meals that we prepared, eating out, travel, and also any incidentals, things from pharmacies, and lastly, any clothes. And I'm going to walk you through the costs of each of those individual sections and give you a roundup and give you a summary. What was life really like for that month? We did this for the month of January, a good month to kind of reset ourselves out past Christmas and New Year, and time to just give ourselves a little bit of a financial reset, a mental reset, and also physically in terms of what we were eating and drinking. That was the goal of this challenge, if you so like. So what is $1,000? Well, I'm from the UK, I'm from Scotland. $1,000 equates to £735. If you want it in euros, 843 euros. And for the locals here in Malaysia that are interested in ringgits, that would be 3,898 ringgits, covering all costs. So what did it come out like? Well, let's dive into each of those points. Now, before I jump on to the very first one, accommodation, let me just say, I tend to get a lot of questions from viewers on these topics: slow traveling, living life as a nomad. If you want to know more details or how I answer some of those questions, I write a weekly newsletter. You can sign up down below. It's a bit of like a Nomad's newsletter, if you like. And you can sign up down below. It's free of charge. I send it out every Friday, and I just add a bit more colour. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more, feel free to use that. Right, let's dive on. Accommodation. In the very last video I posted, I mentioned that we had stayed at a hotel called the Paxtons, which was at Empire City. It's in Damansara area in Petaling Jaya, just about 10 to 15 minutes outside of the city. We booked that accommodation in December of 2025 ahead, and I think we got an absolute bargain. The hotel complex is fairly new. It's 2 buildings, Paxton's and also Moaz, and you get to use the services of both buildings. Moaz has a beautiful gym and an outdoor swimming pool, whereas Paxton's that we're staying inside had an indoor pool and a jacuzzi inside it as well, and you can walk between the 2 buildings really easily. The room itself was fairly basic. It had a bed, had a table and chairs, it had a refrigerator and freezer, it had a small microwave and a hot plate, shower, toilet, everything you needed. It's not a dormitory, it's not shared, it was a very private room, and we had a reasonable view, and the total price of that accommodation was £290. Now, I checked that room afterwards for another month's stay, and it was coming in significantly higher, but we are now heading towards Chinese New Year here, which is heavily celebrated, and prices have increased because of the number of visitors. So we got lucky. That was the cheapest accommodation we've managed to find so far, but I don't think we were scrimping. It wasn't of low quality, it wasn't shared, it wasn't a dormitory. It was a really nice small apartment for both my wife and I. Now, again, I'm going to state, the $1,000 challenge, the £735, is for 2 people, my wife and I. So take into consideration that these costs are for a mid-40s couple who are just looking to downsize their life from living in the UK. We've both worked in corporate jobs and we've both been made redundant, and now we're just living a quiet life traveling around on a small amount of savings. And also I earn here on YouTube, and I also earn across stock options and a few other areas. I share all of those videos. So if all of that's of interest to you, like how do you make money while traveling, follow along this journey with us. £290 then for the accommodation. Next up on these fees, we are a middle-aged couple and we want to kind of look after ourselves. So we have an insurance policy, a travel nomadic insurance policy that covers the two of us. The costs on it, and that's a whole other story coming down the line, but the costs on it monthly is £156. So £290 for the accommodation, £156 for the insurance. All right, next up, travel. Now, for this month, we normally take Grab taxis, and yes, you can take the overground train. There's plenty of other ways to get around in the city. We find a Grab to be fairly cheap, and the location that we were in at Empire City really meant there wasn't a lot of foot access, so we had to take taxis. We did that multiple times throughout the month, but the grand total for just getting around the city, heading from Empire City to KLCC, where we had a meet up with other YouTubers, other Brits who've travelled, and just catching up with people, came to £29.24 in total. I'm sorry I'm kind of jumping around here between dollars, and $1,000 sounds a bit better than the £735 challenge, but I'll give you the conversion of everything at the end of all of this. But £29.24, super cheap. The average taxi ride for us is like £1.70, £2.90. The most expensive taxi we took was £4.85. Now, you can't even get in a taxi in the UK for £4.85. They won't come for you for that fee. All right, let's talk about eating out. Now, we scaled this back for the month. I was focusing on health, was focusing on what I was eating, and so we cut back on things like carbs, rice, starchy products. I was focusing more on a bit of a meat diet, just trying to kind of lose the belly. That's a video down the line. But we went to the Beard Brothers, and I made a video about that restaurant, that barbecue lunch that we went for on a Sunday. That was fairly expensive. That came out at £57.28 for barbecue. Again, for Yvonne and I, a platter that we ordered. It was delicious, but again, you could cut some of these costs down. And again, there's also plenty of malls, plenty of stalls, plenty of street food that you could go and eat. So feel free to, comment down below about how we could cut these costs back. I'm always fascinated to hear people's opinions. But eating out came to £57.28. Slight correction, I also went out for coffee one day. That was £5.56. So the grand total actually for including restaurants and coffees was £62.84. All right, we needed some toiletries. We needed some basic essentials when we arrived back in Kuala Lumpur from Thailand. We went to a local Watson's, which is like a pharmacy store, and there we spent £34.98. We needed a few vitamins. I've had a bit of a throat infection, so a cough bottle, a throat spray, £34.93. Now, I also said that I was going to try and do this no spend month, right? Not buying any tech products, not doing my typical John thing, which is like walk around the malls and see things and think, oh, got to have that. Ordering new phone cases. I broke my phone case and I'm still using the bare phone. Kept the cost to a minimum. However, we did go to the Petronas Towers and I needed some new underwear. And we bought that from a store, and the total cost for it was £27.69. We also went to Decathlon, where I bought an exercise band. I'm putting this in the same category just so that I could do a little bit of workouts in the room. Total spend there for clothing and incidentals came to £32.14 for the month. All right, let's see what else we've got. So a couple of small things. I have a Revolut bank account that I pay monthly for. I use a Revolut card to pay for things. That's how I track most of this expenditure. I pay £15 a month subscription for it. Some other small incidentals. We have a YouTube premium account, a family account. That's so I can sit and watch all of my content in the evening and relax with TV on an Amazon Fire Stick. I pay £20 a month for it also. I'm very quickly scanning my list. We didn't have to buy anything else. We didn't do laundry. Yvonne did all of it in the room using just detergent that we had bought also from the pharmacy. We picked up, so it's included in those costs. So mobile phone costs. We both have a £6 package with giffgaff in the UK to maintain our UK number, and it comes to £12 in total. And then the other big expenditure. So how did we eat if we only ate out once? We bought most of our food from the local grocery stores in the malls nearby, or the Billa stores that were attached to the hotel complex. Again, because I was eating so healthily, we used January as a bit of a physical reset. Again, I was trying to cut down on some weight. I was going to the gym daily, and that gave me the ability to really focus on my diet. I was eating cans of tuna with protein wraps, and Yvonne was making chicken breast for us, so I was having chicken breast tortilla wraps with salad included. I was following a very strict diet of only eating between the times of 2 p.m. and 9 p.m. in the evening. I cut out sugary drinks, I cut out sweets, I cut out crisps, and that's really helped me to go from about a 22% body fat down to about 18% body fat. I felt really good and the gym was awesome. So, doing all of this was really dialed in, but we bought most of the dinners. Yvonne made them. I was doing 1 meal a day, Nomad style, and also fasting for the rest of the time, mental reset. So the total that we would spend typically on a shopping visit, around £38. The highest we spent was £65 on one trip, and the grand total for the month of January came to £178.02. So that rounds it up. Groceries, £178. Travel, taxis, £29. Eating out, £62. Pharmacies and little incidentals, £34.93. And the clothes that we purchased, £32. And then a few other incidentals. So $1,000, £735 challenge. How did we eventually total up? Well, here's the reality. We landed on $1,156. Converted to pounds sterling for my UK viewers, £850. £850 for a month living in Kuala Lumpur city. Alright, 10 minutes outside the city in Damansara, in a brand new apartment with internet, air conditioning, gym, swimming pool. We ate well, I lost weight, and we remained focused on our health and diet. But here's the crucial point of all of this. Was it fun? Well, it was a very good mental reset. Would I want to do it every month? Could I find a £290 apartment every month? Probably not. And that's the whole point of this, right? Some months you can live for £850. In other months, it's more like £1,500 to £2,000. Our previous lowest record for the month of November into December was £1,300. Our very first month here in the city was £2,000. So it's the up and down, right? We've always pitched ourselves at living somewhere around £1,500 would be a comfortable position and wouldn't break the bank. We could manage that from YouTube earnings and from other income that we share on this channel. This is a warts and all. I'm not a travel channel. I'm not a food review channel. I am a life reinvention in your late 40s channel. From health struggles, redundancy back home, to leaving the UK and just trying to find if we can live a cheaper way while spending time together, relaxing, enjoying the sights and sounds of the city, and travelling around Southeast Asia. So what I would say is it doable? Yes. Would you want to do it all the time? No. But so many videos will talk about it, and this is really the reality of it. So thanks so much for watching all of this. You can let me know down below what you think of these prices, these costs that we've spent. I'm sure some will tell us we could do it even cheaper, particularly on accommodation when you do longer term rentals. We live here on a tourist visa. We leave, which a tourist visa is 90 days. We leave and then we travel to other parts of Southeast Asia. A month in Thailand. We're looking at now Vietnam, we're looking at Singapore, and we're looking at just enjoying our time. So let me know down below, what's your thoughts? And again, if you want to know some additional detail, you have questions in the comments below, sign up to that newsletter and I'll share much more. Every Friday, the comms go out on that. Thank you so much for watching this. Thanks for supporting my wife and I. Thank you for supporting this channel. If any of this is useful and you want to follow along, hit that other button. What's it called again? Subscribe. See you in the next one, folks.